Hello, this is Linnea from Lilybrook, and I am here today to talk to you about a book for grown-ups about autism and neurodiversity. This is in celebration of Autism Acceptance Month, and our motive is to promote some education about autism and what it looks like. This book is especially special because it talks about the history of the autism diagnosis, and it covers a lot of things that are really important to understand about neurodiversity in general. It also has a few quotes about the future of neurodiversity and autism training that I really enjoyed, and so I thought I would share a couple of those with you today as well. The book itself is rather large, so that's why I'm not going to read any of it to you, except for those couple of quotes. If you have an easier time with audiobooks, you can find it on Libby or Overdrive, I believe, and possibly even Hoopla through your library. But if you're involved at any way with people who are autistic or neurodiverse, I would highly recommend checking it out or potentially even owning it. Again, this book is called Neurotribes, and the subtitle is The Legacy of Autism and the Future of Neurodiversity, and it is by Steve Silberman. Steve Silberman just passed away this year, unfortunately. He was a fantastic journalist. He covered science and cultural affairs for Wired and other national magazines, and he was a journalist for more than 20 years. He did some investigation into neurodiversity and autism and all of the kinds of things that we think about. So, this book talks a lot about neurodiversity, how the autism diagnosis got started. It talks about some very heavy topics, including ableism and also some connections in its beginning stages of autism diagnosis with eugenics and things like that. So be aware, it is a pretty weighty book. It's a very easy read, but it does contain some heavy topics. So just be aware of your own self and be aware of your own needs emotionally and otherwise when you are reading this book. So one of the quotes that I wanted to read to you today is from the last chapter of the book where Steve Silberman is talking about how to understand neurodiversity. And I particularly like this example because it talks about what neurodiversity is and what it's not. And he says, one way to understand neurodiversity is to think in terms of human operating systems instead of diagnostic labels like dyslexia and ADHD. The brain is, after all, a marvelously adaptive organism, adept at maximizing its chances of success even in the face of daunting limitations. Just because a computer is not running Windows doesn't mean that it's broken. Not all of the features of atypical human operating systems are bugs. By autistic standards, the normal brain is easily distractible, is obsessively social, and suffers from a deficit of attention to detail and routine. Thus, people on the spectrum experience the neurotypical world as relentlessly unpredictable and chaotic, perpetually turned up too loud and full of people who have little respect for personal space. And then on the last page of the book, about his part of the book, it says, the process of building a world suited to the needs and special abilities of all kinds of minds is just starting, but unlike long-range projects like teasing out the genetics and environmental factors that contribute to complex conditions like autism, the returns for autistic people and their families are practical and immediate. These innovations are also much less expensive than projects requiring millions of dollars in federal funding. With the generation of autistic people diagnosed in the 1990s now coming of age, society can no longer afford to pretend that autism suddenly loomed up out of nowhere, like the black monolith in 2001, A Space Odyssey. There is much work to be done. So again, this book is Neurotribes, and it is by Steve Silberman. Thanks for joining me today.